Hello students, is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll start the class. In the last class, we have seen what exactly the power quality and in terms of the issues with respect to the perception of the customer and the utility, we have seen the most of the one-third problems of the power quality problems are related to the natural and customer related the power quality issues. Because of this natural and customer, most of the problems will be the reasons for the power quality issues. Okay, and then yeah, coming back to this, the power quality as such, like we have seen, like as I mean, it is not defined in a standardized way because no, with respect to the load, the performance, the definitions may vary also. Okay, if it is a sensitive load, then the power quality definition is also going to vary. Okay, the common term for the power quality is most is related to the voltage. Okay, that is being addressed in most of the cases, in almost all literature also. The way which they have been defined the power quality terms is with respect to the voltage quality. Technically, in engineering terms, the power is the rate of energy delivered and is proportional to the product of the voltage and current. It would be difficult to define the quality of this quantity in a meaningful manner. As we have been discussed this term, it is not, it would be difficult to define the quality of the power of this quantity in a meaningful manner. The power supply of a system can only control the quality of the voltage. It has no control over the currents that particular loads might draw. Okay, when you take a supply or a system, the current drawn by the load is not dependent in the utility control also. The current drawn by the load, it is not in the control of the utility. The only utility is having a control to improve the quality of the voltage. That's what, okay, to improve the quality of the voltage load. If there is any voltage changes, maybe it might be in the utility side, they may have the tap changing transformer. Even then, we can change with the tap changing transformer, we can improve the voltage or decrease if there is a over voltage in a system also, we can decrease the voltage by changing the tap setting of the transformer. But the utility doesn't have the control what kind of the shape of the current or what kind of the current drawn by the load, also it is not in the control of the utility. Okay, therefore the standards in the power quality area are devoted to maintaining the supply voltage within certain limits. Okay, that's what with the above concern with the above point, it has been mentioned like the power quality area are devoted to maintain the supply voltage within certain limits, maybe within the threshold values. It all the supply voltage also, it all depends upon the voltage levels of the distribution level. I mean, don't think like the distribution voltage is up to the 440 volts of a three phase. It can go for a even 11 kV also. Okay, depending on the voltage levels, they have in literature in IEEE 519 standard also they have been mentioned about the standards. I mean, they have certain limits of the voltage also. Okay, because of this reason only, as the earlier point, the power supply system can only control the quality of the voltage. It has no control over the currents that particular loads might draw. Therefore, the standards in the power quality area are devoted to maintaining the supply voltage within the certain limits. But don't think like there is only uh, limits will be there on particular to the voltage. In literature, there also they have been mentioned about the current limits also. It all again depends on the individual loads. That means that don't think like there is no for a household for a household customers for the household customers there is no such a constraint over there on the current also, and there is no constraint on the voltage. For the industrial loads alone, if if you think about the power factor, the power factor is very much very well dependent on the a current, on the reactive current which is drawn by the load. Okay, in that case, they have not mentioned about the anything to be drawn the reactive power from the source. As such, like there are no certain limits also is there. If even if he draws more the reactive power, he is the individual customer or the industrial load or the industry I mean industry, they will be penalizing the industry people only in making out the billing. As such, there is no limits are there on the current. Okay, but uh, but in the developed countries, especially due to the deregulation in a power system sector, they have been mentioning about the current limits also with respect to the power quality also. Okay, yeah. Generally, the AC power systems are designed to operate at a sinusoidal voltage of a frequency and magnitude. The frequency typically 50 or the 60 Hz. Any significant with respect to the power quality equal to the voltage quality. Any significant deviation in the waveform, magnitude, frequency, or purity is a potential power quality problem. Okay, if there is any deviation in the waveform magnitude, frequency, or a purity is a potential power quality problem. The way which it has been defined of the power quality. Okay, yeah. When you see these particular points, how does the voltage quality is going to influence, the voltage quality is influenced by the current with respect to the different kind of a problems. If you take about a first point, if you take about the first point, this particular point, the current resulting from a short circuit with respect to the current we are saying it here. You can see this, I'll read out this initial point. Of course, there is always a close relationship between the voltage and current in any practical power systems. Although the generators may provide a near perfect sine voltage, the currents passing through the impedance of the system can cause a variety of disturbances to the voltage. Okay, the current passing, this is a very important point. Impedance of the system can cause a variety of a disturbance to the voltage. For example, the current resulting from a short circuit causes the voltage to sag or disappear completely also, as the case may be. Disappear completely may be in the sense like if there is a dead fault, something like all the current which is there, the fault impedance is very much lower. In that case, we'll be seeing the zero voltage in a system also. We'll be seeing that a zero voltage in a system. If you take about, for this case, I just give about a diagram. The way which it looks like. I've been drawing this particular single line diagram almost in all the in earlier class also. Yeah, this is the load. Okay, this will be the load current of IL. Might be this is the fault current over here. This is IF. Okay, this is the supply voltage of VS. This is of the feeder impedance is ZS, and this will be VT, which is equal to, this case is Vs minus of IL plus IF into ZS. Okay, this is the equation. Okay, this is the terminal voltage where we have been measuring up. I mean, keeping this figure in your mind, you can see that the current resulting from a short circuit causes the voltage to sag or disappears completely, as the case may be. And also current from lightning strokes passing through the power system causes a high impulse voltage that frequently flash over insulation and lead to the other phenomena such as a short circuit also. Once if you have a lightning stroke, if there is a insulation failure in that, when you have a frequent flash over insulation, lead to other phenomena such as a short circuit. If it doesn't have the insulation over a cable, suppose what it exactly means, we have a insulators, okay, and we have a line which is going out. Whenever there is a flash over occurs at this particular point, there is this insulator will be completely breaking out also. In that case, we will be having a fault occurs at this particular point also. A fault occur at this particular point also. This also created a certain voltage sag, even the impulse voltage at this particular point also. Okay, and this other point is distortion current from harmonic produces loads. Distorted currents due to harmonic producing loads, due to a nonlinear loads, also distort the voltage as they pass to the system impedance. Thus, a distorted voltage is presented to other end users. Distorted currents also distort the voltage. Distorted currents from harmonic producing load also distort the voltage as they pass to the system impedance. Thus, a distorted voltage is presented to other end users also. Okay. Therefore, while it is the voltage with which we are ultimately concerned, we must also address the phenomena in the current to understand the basics of many power quality problems. When you look into these particular 3 points, it looks like the current which is there, which is very well creating the voltage quality problem also. Okay, in that case, we need to address the phenomena in the current to understand the basics of the many power quality problems. Okay, with this by looking over the other 3 points. Coming back to the distorted current, suppose if you have a nonlinear, even in this case, if the IL which is of having the harmonic component of the current, this is a fundamental component of the current, and here we have a nonlinear load. We have a nonlinear load. See, obviously, when you have a nonlinear load, there is a harmonic current which is used to flow. In that case, this equation is looking out as a Vt is equal to Vs minus of IL. I'm just removing this fault current because we are just representing to the distortion in the voltage plus the IH harmonic current into Zs. Okay, we'll be having the distortion in the voltage also. Okay, then as such, like in a generator, when you look into a generator, the generating station is very far away. In the generating stations, there won't be any kind of a distortion is going to present in the in the generator in voltage. there is no distortion, will be there in voltage waveform. The voltage in a generator, it will be looks like a very much a sinusoidal nature. Even like there won't be any kind of the, when you are looking about the transmission network also, you have it, when you're looking about the transmission system, we never have seen like in the transmission system any kind of the harmonics. We are not going, you might not heard about the harmonics in a transmission system. Only thing is like when a distribution system alone, when you're looking to the distribution system alone, we'll be having the harmonics present in the system. Basically, depending upon the transformer, whatever we are going to use, maybe delta or star. In that case, if you look into the delta and the star, mostly like there won't be any harmonics will be going to flow out. Maybe you'll be having the harmonics over here, but this case there is no triplet harmonics going to come into the higher voltage levels. So because of that reason, or because of other, the majority because of the type of the transformer which is there on the transmission side, due to that we'll be not having the any harmonics at a generating station, even at in the transmission system also. Okay. Yeah. Then why are we concerned about the quality? Why are we concerned about the power quality? As I was mentioning in the earlier also, domestic loads, doesn't have any kind of an issue with respect to the power quality. Mostly, only thing like whenever we have a case of a lightning phenomena, who doesn't have the proper mechanism of an earthing over there, in that case there may be the flashover, or there may be the burnout, or there may be an equipment failure also in the domestic cases. As such, like running out with respect to the load point of view, or meeting out the load performance in the domestic loads is not a very major problem. Okay, with respect to the load point of view, or with respect to the especially I'm talking about with respect to the domestic loads, the performance of the loads is, we are in the domestic loads, the most of the domestic load whatever we have as of now, we were not going to have any kind of a production unit. Okay, in that case it won't be having any influence on the domestic loads. If you have an industrial loads, then there is a serious kind of a problem. If you see about the fourth point, if you see about this particular, the fourth point in this slide, yeah, this particular point. If there is any outage, or if there is any problem which is related to the voltage problem, there is completely a breaker which is going to operate, or the industry a relay system which is there, it is going to shut down the entire the production. Okay, in order to bring back to the running condition, it requires to 4 hours to restart again. In that case, there will be having a huge loss. Will be there, that something like it has been mentioned in the textbooks, around $10,000. Okay, and okay, this is one of the serious problem when you are not maintaining the equality of the voltage. Okay, when you are not maintaining to the equality as voltage. And this particular point, there has recently been a great emphasis on revitalizing industry with more automation and more modern equipment. In that case also, with respect to this more automation and more modern equipment, there are very sensitive with respect to the voltage quality issue also. Okay. Yeah. One of this case where the semiconductor manufacture industry have been studied with respect to the this voltage sag immunity. This one, we'll try to see this particular graph. How does this semiconductor manufacturer industry are very much, especially it is the equipment is going to uh, turn off when there is any voltage variations also. Okay, the equipment in the semiconductor manufacturing industry, there is very much the equipment is very sensitive to the momentary voltage sag, resulted in it is a very serious issue with respect to the semiconductor manufacturing industry. For that, semiconductor manufacturing industry, they have developed their own new standard for riding through the for the riding through the voltage sag related issue also. Okay, this voltage sag right through is basically it is dependent on the variation in the voltage. This is the voltage graph. Just this is the voltage graph with respect to the. Just a minute. I'll try to. Yeah. Yeah. What exactly the voltage sag right through is, for the equipment, what they have done is they have taken the voltage magnitude on the voltage magnitude, and they have done that for the different variation in the voltage magnitude. What is the, if you take about a 1 second, if you take 1 second, this is the number of the time period. This is the time period. Actually, I can say that, see, for every equipment, I can quote an example of, see, yeah, we have defined is a 90 percentage to 110 percentage of the voltage variation. These are the allowed, 90 percentage to 110 percentage is the allowed voltage changes. Okay, allowed changes in the system also. There are some of the equipment, even like the 90%, 95% of voltage for a one cycle, it cannot be bear, the equipment cannot even bear that variation of the 95 percentage for one cycle also. Okay, this is about a sense. It all depends upon to uh, the individual load also. Okay, some of the systems, as I quoted in the last class, at the last I quoted that there is some of the loads which have been capable for the 50 percentages of voltage variation for even 2 cycles or even 3 cycles also. Okay, this about this particular site. They have gone to a study where that the semiconductor manufacture industry, that equipment is able to withstand the voltage variations for how many cycles also. Okay. Once you know that the voltage variations with respect to the number of cycles or with respect to the time, we can make out some kind of some kind of a solution we can give about to a manufacturing industry also. Okay. Yeah. The electric utility is concerned about power quality issues as well. Meeting to customer expectations and maintaining customer confidence are strong motivators. With today's movement towards deregulation and competition between the utilities, they are more important than ever also, especially in the deregulation market. The power quality is very much uh, important important item. The loss of a disgruntled customer to a competing power supplier can have a very significant impact financially on the utility side. Suppose if there is in especially in Delhi, there is Tata Power also has been coming to the distribution level also. Depending upon the reliability of the power supply, okay. Uh, See, we have seen like just now with the semiconductor manufacturing industry. To restart the entire the system also, uh, he need to spend around $10,000. In that case, if the customer, the industry load, if he doesn't want to spend that much amount, depending upon the quality of the supply, he going to opt the other utility also. Okay, because of that reason, especially with respect to the utility, mostly like the government has to think over that to provide the better quality also. Okay. Besides the obvious financial impacts on both the utilities and industrial customers, there are numerous indirect and intangible costs associated with the power quality problems. As such, like we have seen about the power quality is going to affect with respect to the financial impacts will be there much on the industrial lights. It's not like that. It is also the financial impacts will be there on the utility side, because mostly like if there is any lightening phenomena, or if you are not maintaining a proper protection system in your utility side, then obviously you need to spend more on the again the installing the system back into an healthy condition also. In that case, if you are able to make your utility to sense the what kind of the issues which has been occurred on the utility side, if you are able to provide the appropriate solution for that, there is no such a huge loss will be there on the utility side also. Okay. Yeah. And also, these are the points which I am not discussing over here. As I mentioned that the residential customer typically don't suffer directly financial loss or the inability. That's what the inability to earn income as a result of most power quality problems. But they can be potent force when they pursue that the utility is providing the poor service. And then the home computer usage has increased considerably in the last few years, and more transactions are being done over the internet. Users become more sensitive to interruptions when they are reliant on this technology. This particular problem maybe which was related to a very older technology also. Maybe nowadays like you have a mobile which where we have been going to operate the entire the internet to the mobile also. Okay, so as such like this problem is not more very big issue also. Number of complaints required utilities providing staffing to handle them. Also, public interest group frequently intervene with the Public Service Commission, requiring the utility to expend financial resources on lawmakers. This problem is not there much in our Indian system. Maybe in the European system and in the US system, maybe coming to exist if there is. I mean, because of this. Power quality problems. Okay. Yeah. Next is we'll try to see that if to address or to improve the quality of the supply, what kind of the evaluation procedure to be adopted. The first thing which likely to be known is we need to identify the problems which will be existing in a system. Voltage regulation, there are the different problems are there. We need to see that in a system. Suppose if in industry, generally we need to take about a data for a year or for a month also. Typically like these problems will be the power quality problems which have been associated or which will be occurring. It all depends upon, as we have seen, like the currents also, and also depending upon the climatic conditions also. For that, we require to have the data collections, and after the data collections, we need to categorize like what is what kind of the impact will be there on the equipment also. And also, once after identifying the causes and then the characteristics and then the equipment impact, we need to look over that the ranges of the solution. Is it the utility transmission system or is it the utility distribution system? Is it end user customer interface or end use customer system or even the equipment design specifications also? Okay, we can, these are the different kind of the range of solution. To make out the solution, once of identifying the different range of the solution, we need to make out the a simulation studies. For that, we require to build out the entire system or entire system, and then we need to uh, do the analysis. Analysis in the right, like the particular problem, what is the impact will be there with respect to the particular solution also, and what is the kind of the procedure. See, suppose if there is any voltage sag has been occurred, we have the different kinds of the solution, and and also the equipment impacts also. With respect to the voltage sag, we need to see that there is a equipment impacts. What kind of the equipments is it really making the malfunctioning or even the not a satisfactory performance also. Okay, and then we need to look over the solution. Is it the utility transmission system is the appropriate solution, or distribution, or even the equipment also? For that, we need to evaluate the technical alternatives or technical analysis. Entire thing we need to do out it. From that, depending on the cost of the equipment, we need to give an appropriate solution. This is a very standardized procedure, which is very much used in giving about a solution to a power quality problem. Okay. It is not like that the solution always in the transmission system also. It is in the end user customer system also, we can have an appropriate solution also. I give an example which is there. Suppose the power factor correction. The power factor correction giving about the utility transmission system is not an appropriate solution. Giving about a power factor correction at the end user customer system, it is an appropriate solution also. Okay. Giving about, if you take about the voltage unbalance, take about the voltage regulation and then the unbalance. Voltage regulation will be, suppose if it is a voltage regulation problem is there, giving about case where all the users, see the voltage regulation maybe in a system will be having the diversified loads. I mean, okay, I just give about here we have a system, and maybe at the I'm giving about in a radial system. You have what kind of a systems which have been there, radial and then Ringman system. Please, can you, hello? Hello, is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, if you take about a radial system, we will be having the voltage variations at the very far away at whatever the point which is there at this particular point. Maybe it is far around 600, maybe around I can 100 kilometers far away. This particular load is going to have a much more effect on the voltage voltage variations or the under voltage also. In that case, giving an appropriate to at this particular point, maybe they may go for a capacitor bank, which is of to use the capacitor bank to improve the voltage. Even like giving about the capacitor bank at this particular point in, okay, which one is an appropriate solution to give the capacitor bank, either this or this? Which is the appropriate solution? Can anyone? Okay, think over. I mean, what I feel, well, it all depends upon again the what will be the voltage across at this particular point also. Okay, for that we need to look into the entire the system also. It is not like that giving about a solution at this particular problem. I mean, if the voltage is very well off within the limits of a zero point 0.9 to 1.1 per unit, giving about a solution at this particular point is not an appropriate solution. Giving out here, even the cost wise also it is very less when you give out the solution over at far away point also. Okay, this is about the power quality evaluation procedure. Then we'll try to look into that the definitions. Yeah, we'll try to look into the terms and the definition. What are the different terms which have been there with respect to the power quality problems? These problems, basically it has been defined on the electromagnetic phenomena. Okay, electromagnetic interference also. Okay, with respect to the frequency and then with respect to the magnitude also. The term power quality is applied to a wide variety of electromagnetic phenomena on the power systems. And unfortunate, the increasing application of the electronic equipment and the distribution generation has heightened the interest of power quality in recent years. And this has become accompanied by the development of special terminology to describe the phenomena. This is because of the growth of the power electronic equipment, and then we have the distribution generating stations also. Because of that, we have been keen in interest in the power quality in the recent years also. And as I mentioned that there is unfortunately this terminology has not been consistent across different segments of segments of the industry. It has caused a considerable amount of confusion as both vendors and end users have struggled to understand why electric equipment is not working as expected. Okay. Likewise, it is confusing to wade through the vendor jargon and differentiate between a myriad of the proposed solutions also. Okay. These are the need for a consistent vocabulary also. As I mentioning about, especially with respect to the power quality itself only, there is no such a clear-cut definitions which has been put in a literature. We'll try to move out to the definitions and then the different kind of a power quality issues, especially the IEEE and then the IEC, especially the IEEE and then the IEC. They have come to the just a minute. Yeah. Yeah. The principal phenomena causing the electromagnetic disturbances as classified by the IEC. If you take about the low frequency phenomena, they have categorized to harmonics, interharmonics, and signal systems, the power line carrier, voltage fluctuations, voltage dips and interruptions, voltage imbalance, power frequency variations, induced low frequency voltages, DC in AC networks also. This is with respect to the conducted low frequency phenomena. These are the things which has been associated with respect to the low frequency phenomena. With the low frequency radiated phenomena, we have the magnetic fields and then the electric fields. We have the magnetic fields and then the electric fields. Conducted high frequency phenomena, we have the induced continuous waves voltage or current, unidirectional transient, and then the oscillatory transients. The radiated high frequency phenomena, the magnetic fields, electric fields, electromagnetic fields, continuous waves, and transients. And we have a electrostatic discharge phenomena and nuclear electromagnetic pulse. These are all with respect to the electromagnetic interference, or these are the categories which has been categorized based on the frequency level in a system. If you see about IEEE standards, especially when you see about this voltage dip and then the sag also, the sag and the dip. IEC has been quoted as a dip, whereas IEEE has been quoted it as the voltage sag. Okay, I mean depending upon the US and the Europe, they have come across the different terminology, but ultimately the meaning is the same only. Okay, ultimately is the same only. Yeah, these are with respect to the electromagnetic phenomena. When you look into the transients, they have been categorized to the with respect to the impulsive transient and then the oscillatory transients, and then the impulsive transient they have again categorized based upon the typical, when you look into the typical duration and the typical spectral content, they have categorized the typical spectral content, typical duration, and the typical voltage magnitude. These are the different types of the transients. We look into the each individual standards or each individual power quality issues are the categories. What are the reasons and how they have been quantified it also. But all are the majority of the power quality issues have been categorized depending upon the depending upon the depending upon this particular duration as well as the typically the voltage magnitude alone. Okay, the majority of the issues. And also when you take about the impulsive transient also, there are other considerations are there. We'll try to see that also in when you're defining the definitions. Here we have here the short-term duration voltage variations. These are the short-term duration voltage variations. When you look into the short-term duration voltage variation, we have the 0.5 to 1 minute of the voltage variations. 1.5 to 1 minute. We have the instantaneous, momentary, and then the temporary also. In that, instantaneous, and then the momentary, and then the temporary also. We'll try to see that these things we'll see that long duration voltage variations, voltage unbalance, waveform, and then waveform distortion, and then the voltage fluctuations also. First thing is whatever the variations in the voltage or variations of the current is with respect to the steady state phenomena as well as the non-steady state phenomena. With respect to the steady state phenomena, how does they have been categorized depending upon the following attributes? They have been categorized to a steady state phenomena and then the non-steady state phenomena. If I quote now, you have a voltage sag. We have a voltage sag, and then we have an under voltage. Under voltage. See, these are the two terms which are very much are similar also. Only thing is there is a voltage variation. There is a voltage variation. Okay, voltage variation. Suppose if you take about a lightning phenomena. Lightning phenomena. This lightning phenomena will be there for even a very for a short duration. For a short duration. Okay. I mean, depending upon the time here, even here the voltage sag and then the under voltage, depending upon the magnitude, depending on the magnitude, depending on the time duration, and when you take about the lightning, we'll be having the some kind of a frequency variations also. Sometimes a frequency variations. Frequency variation in the sense like the how much the for the particular frequency component only will be coming to exist only. In a system, we are going to deal with respect to the only the fundamental. Whereas in the lightning phenomena, there is a high frequency component will be coming into existence. Even under the case of the transients also, even not the transient, I just, maybe the switching on a capacitor band. In that case also, we'll be looking over the high frequency signals also. These are the amplitude for the steady state phenomena, which depends upon this following attributes: amplitude, frequency, spectrum, modulation, source impedance, notch depth, and the notch area. Okay, these are the attributes. Based upon these attributes, which has been categorized to a steady state phenomena. Suppose if you take a non-steady state phenomena, the rate of rise, how much, what is the time period, which is the magnitude with respect to the voltage, or with respect to the current also it is rising. The amplitude is same only. Again, we'll be having about the duration. Here in the steady state phenomena, as such, like the duration is not very much concerned also. Here we'll be having a duration, and the spectrum is almost in the steady state phenomenon also we'll be having the spectrum. And then we have here the frequency, because as I said, like the frequency components are very much with respect to, by taking that attribute also we can categorize into a non-steady state phenomena. And then the rate of occurrence also, we'll see that the rate of occurrence when you're looking over the um, the transients, and then the energy potential, and then the source impedance. Based upon these categories, we have been categorized the power quality issues uh, is a non-steady state phenomena. Okay, we'll see now the transients. You know what are the reasons of the transients in a system? Okay, the reasons for the transient in a system. One thing is, whenever we have been connecting the system, connecting a inductive element or any capacitive element, during the initial stages only, we will be having the transients. Maybe you might have been studied the transients by taking about a DC circuit, but in a power electronic course, you have been studied about the transients which will be occurring by considering an AC circuit also. When you have been seen about the commutation circuits, where we have been seen about the transients coming over there with respect to the AC system also. Basically the transients which have been occurring is in an electrical system is because of the inductive and then the capacitive elements in a system also. Even like whenever we have a lightning phenomenon in a system also, there the huge amount of the power which is going to come into a line also. I mean a transmission line or even the distribution line also. Basically, the inductor and the capacitor is not allowing the sudden changes of these particular energy variations also. In that case, we'll be having about a transients with respect to the voltage or with respect to the current also. Okay. The term, when you see about this particular slide, the term transients has long been used in the analysis of power systems variations to denote an event that is undesirable and momentary in nature also. Okay. The notation of the damped oscillator transient due to an RLC network is probably what most power engineers think when they hear the word a transient. The other definition in common use are broad in scope and simply state that a transient is that part of the chain in variable that disappears during transition from one steady state operating condition to another operating conditions. If there is any voltage variations or the current variation between the two operating or the steady state operating, in that part of the change in a variable that disappears during the transition from one steady state operating condition to other operating condition, we'll be defining it as a transient. Unfortunately, this definition could be used to describe just about anything unusual that happens on the power systems. Okay, I mean anything that happens in the power systems. Maybe like even the harmonics also. Even the harmonics also. Sometimes like we are being, if you take about a fundamental voltage waveform, suddenly there is if you have a third harmonic current, then obviously I mean, if you try to incorporate the third harmonic component signal into a fundamental signal, then we'll be seeing that there is a variation in the voltage also or in the current also. That also may be looking to the transient also. But actually, when we are looking about the transient in a power system network, these are the components of the high frequency component systems. Okay, these are the components which have been related to the high frequency components. The another word in common usage that is often considered the synonyms with the transient is a surge also. An utility engineer may think of surge as a transient resulting from a lightning stroke for which a surge arrestor is being used for the protection. End users frequently use the word indiscriminately to describe anything unusual that might be observed on the power supply ranging from sags to swell to interruptions also. These are the things which have been there also, which they consider it as a transient also. They won't think about the end user that is a transient also. Okay, whatever the problems which have been associated, the end user will think about sag swells to interruptions. Because there are many potential ambiguities with this word in the power quality field, we'll generally avoid using it unless we have specifically defined what it refers to also. Okay. Broadly speaking, transients can be classified into two categories. One is impulsive and then the oscillatory transients. These terms reflected to the wave shape of a current or voltage transient. Okay. We have a transient which is of impulsive and oscillatory transients, and these terms reflect to the wave shape of a current or a voltage. Don't think like the transients which have been related to the only the current. The transients will be there either in voltage or in the current also. When you look into this, the different transients, when you see that the impulsive transient, the way which they have been defined is based on the IEEE standard and the IEC standard also. An impulsive transient is a sudden non-power frequency change. Is a sudden non-power frequency change. It is not related to the fundamental frequency. It is not related to fundamental power frequency also. Non-power frequency change in the steady state condition of voltage, current, are both also. That means that the voltage or the current are in both also. That is unidirectional in polarity, primarily either positive or negative. Okay, the whatever the variation is there, it is either to a positive or to a negative. It won't be that impulse signal. If you look into this particular signal, here is a signal. Here is a signal where we have seen like the variation in only one direction, that is of current, which is of a negative current here. It is of a negative current. That variations is not reflected into in a positive manner. There is no variations over this particular positive magnitude. That means that this positive magnitude, the positive magnitude, there is no variations. We have either a positive or a negative. This is the typical waveform of the lightning stroke current impulsive transient, where they have been measured the current waveform. There where we having lightning over there, that is causing about the huge kilo of the amperes. It is of an impulsive transient also. Even that cycle, if you see that it is a time of the microseconds, which is of microseconds. These impulsive transients are normally categorized by their rise and decay times, which can be revealed by their spectral content, which is revealed by their spectral content. This is also the impulsive transient is a non-steady state phenomena, because this is there for a very short duration also. This is there. The impulsive transient is there for a short duration. Okay, we have a non-steady state phenomena and then the steady state phenomena. This impulsive transient, which is related to a non-steady state phenomena, mostly like the impulsive transient is due to the lightning phenomena. And the definition says that an impulsive is a sudden non-power frequency change in the steady state condition of voltage or current or both, that is unidirectional in polarity, primarily either positive or the negative. Okay. The impulsive transient, because of high frequency involved, the shape of impulsive transients can be changed quickly by circuit components and may have significantly different characteristics when viewed from different parts of the power systems. That means that entire the system, if you are able to sense that the impulsive, the voltage or the current, it have the different characteristics. Wherever we have been measuring that the inception or wherever the lightning phenomena which has been occurred, it has a different kind of a magnitude when you go for the downstream or when you go for other distribution, other systems also, there is the other impact, because basically we have the inductive and the capacitive elements. There is a delay in a circuit also. The transmission of the a fault, maybe it is hardly like the transmission is also is of the light speed also, we cannot even sense also, but the impact with respect to the magnitude is going to vary. Okay, they are generally not conducted far from the source of where they enter the system. They are generally not conducted far from the source or where they enter the power system, although they may in some cases be conducted for quite some distance along the utility lines. Impulsive transients can excite the natural frequency of power systems of circuit and produces the oscillatory transients also. That means that whatever the impulsive transient is there, once if it passes through the entire system, it may produce the oscillatory transients also. Okay, I'm stopping over here. In the next class, we'll see about the oscillatory transient also. Okay, and other power quality definitions also. Okay, I'm stopping over here.
Okay, sir.
We'll meet in the next class.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.